Okay, I'm Carlotta Dicataldo. I am a comic book artist and I started making comic books roughly 7 years ago. After I came out of a school. In the beginning I started with just drawing stuff for other publishers, and so I consider Rebis my first authorial thing, and so I actually started a couple years ago.
As you can imagine, since she's the one drawing, I am the one who wrote the book, and this is actually my first ever project of this length. We studied at the same school, learned how to do comics, and I discovered there that I didn't so much like drawing them, not as much as I liked writing them. And then, so we became friends, and then we decided to work together. And this was a trial, and I can safely say after 1 year that it's been out in Italy that it worked. I think it worked. So basically what got me, and I think the both of us, into comics was first reading them and then learning it was possible to actually have it like as a job. I think that's pretty much everything there is to say.
Yeah.
Rebis actually was born from a match between some character designs she had previously and some ideas I had, and which I didn't know how to express without someone drawing. It was something egoistical in the beginning, because I thought, what would I have liked to read when I was 15, 16, a teenager? And what I think it's still lacking in today's comic, I don't want to say industry, panorama, field. Okay. A lot of books are either for very young people or older ones, and the teenager years are left uncovered. And so I wanted to give that, give that phase something. It was meant for people who maybe might feel lonely or different, and they leave their differences still as something which is not positive. And I wanted to tell those people that actually there is a lot of us out there, and it's better if you group with people who are already ready to welcome you, instead of focusing on convincing people who don't want to listen to you that you are valid, and that was pretty much what pushed us to go through with this one.
Okay, so for Viviana and Rebis, I had roughly their designs years ago, and the initial idea was this very scary witch with white rabbit as a familiar. And so Rebis in the beginning was just a humanization of a white rabbit, and later it became what it is now. So for them two, they were born as a duo of very different
contraposing
characteristic, both in design and character. And for the other character, I try to be as diverse as I can, and I really like colors, so I try to study what personality is usually associated with a certain color, and do that kind of research. And that's pretty much it, I think. Okay.
It wasn't really how many different people can we put in the same. It came naturally because different people exist and actually are there every time, and you just have to look around you and integrate it in stories. Because I feel often stories are made cutting out differences for the sake of being pleasing to the eyes, or that talking to an extreme. So yeah.
Yes, I really like animation. I initially wanted to work in animation, but then I realized that I could tell stories with comics in a way that animation wouldn't allow me to, and so I switched to comics. But I'm really passionate about animation, so I watch a lot of animated movies, and I'm very glad it's noticeable that I try to put animation characteristic into a still image.
Actually, that is a question that gets asked inside the book, and it was really one of the main focus I had since the beginning, and I wanted to tell my own version of it, because I feel like very often witches are portrayed as something magical and in fantasy stories, when actually in real life they were much more political, and that is what I wanted to give Viviana, which is the witch in the story. I wanted to give witches back what the real meaning, to my interpretation. She states in the book what is a witch really. It's just mainly a word, and it's just something you decide, people decide to call you, and what is for them the meaning they give to the word witch. And as we know, it has always been something either where they were women with money or with ideas, or that didn't fit into society. Everything that didn't fit into society, to me, that is what today as well might be called a witch. I don't know. It's a very tricky question. I don't know if I'd prefer to be someone who draws or another person who writes. Actually, I was a really big fan of Hubert, which sadly I cannot say I'd like to transfer there anymore, because
Vabbè, Irene.
Vabbè, la verità. I'd like to know how it is for like Japanese artists. How do they do that? How do they plan such long stories and make them that quick? That is what interests me. Maybe I will go there. See.
Okay. There's a Japanese artist I really like. Her name is Kamome Shirama, and she has a really great way of drawings, both like technically and portraying emotion and stories, and I would like to be her.